Hi everybody, hope you're doing well today. If you've not seen me before, my name is Abby the Mindset Fairy. I'm an intuitive tarot reader, motivational speaker and mindset guide. And today I want to talk about the difference between what is a habit and what is a choice. So this may seem really obvious to you. You might be going, well, I know that. A habit is something that I just do and a choice is something that I consciously make. And yes, in essence it is. But sometimes we blame our choices on habit when it's actually we're just not taking accountability for that action. And that's really sort of the area of it that I want to discuss with you today. It's really important when we are going for our goals, going for our dreams, changing our life, that we understand and take accountability for the choices that we're making so we can change it, so we can work to where we want to be. So I saw a really, really good video the other day by Daryl Anker, who's a spiritual medium. And someone was asking him a question and he never actually let them get the question out. So I don't actually know what the question was. But this person started this question by going, I have this habit of, and he was like, stop. That's not a habit, that's a choice. And she was like, what? And then he explained it. And what he said was a habit is something that is unconscious. You have no idea you're doing it. You just suddenly see the results of it and don't know how it got there because you have no recollection of doing it. It is autonomous. It's something that we don't know that we're doing. If you are identifying it as I have this habit of, then you are knowing that you're doing it. And when you know that you do it, it's a choice to do it. And when you're making that choice, you have to take accountability for making that choice in order to be able to reverse it. Which seems really harsh, but let's go into a bit more detail. So the examples that I can give you is a habit is something like doodling while you're on the phone. You don't realise you're doing it. You have no memory of doing it. You just look down at your page and it scribbles all over it and you don't even remember picking up the pen. You don't even know why there's no space on there because you have no recollection of doing it. As far as you were concerned, you were concentrating on the phone call. That is a habit. Because you don't even know you're doing it. You don't even remember. You have no recollection of it whatsoever. You just look down and you see the results. People who bite their nails, for example, they have no recollection of lifting their hand up to their mouth at all. They just suddenly realise that their fingers are bleeding. And I have no idea how that happens because it's not a conscious thought. Those are habits. Talking down to yourself, seeing the worst in a situation, going to the fridge for sugar, those aren't habits. Those are subconscious choices. And the only way to reverse those is to make it conscious and choose differently. So if you are wanting to build your own business, for example, and you know that it's something that you can do because you wouldn't have had the idea if you couldn't, and we've covered that in previous videos, but you always talk down to yourself, you always have imposter syndrome, you always come up with excuses not to do it. That's not a habit of doing that. You are subconsciously making the choice to hold yourself back. You are subconsciously deciding that this is not worth it for you. So you're going to put an obstacle in your way. But to make something a habit, you need to do it consistently for 66 days. For 66 consistent days, you've got to do it for it to become autonomous to the point that you just do it. You don't have to think about it. You just get up and do it. It just happens. You just think that way. You just act that way. You just behave that way. You make the choices in alignment to that naturally because it's become part of who you are. So if it takes that long to make these unconscious choices a part of your life, but for the same length of time you can make better choices, what are you going to choose to do? If you want to live a healthier life, You have to bring attention to the unconscious part of your mind that is telling you to do these things, that is making that choice to go to the fridge, that is making that choice to not get up and go to the gym. You need to identify that part within yourself and then consciously make the choice to do different. And it sounds really, really difficult. And at the beginning it is, because we become so used to the unconscious choices that our mind makes all the time, because that's how we allow the mental space to focus on everything else. And there's loads of different things that you can do when I'm working with clients on becoming fitter and healthier. We do things like put a mirror on the fridge so they don't, and change something up so their mind notices it differently. And then that change brings that conscious thought back to that action. When it comes to changing your mindset and trying to become more positive, it's about bringing your attention back to your thoughts and feelings at multiple different intervals throughout the day. It's getting into the habit, effectively, of checking in with yourself. It's putting reminders within your day to check into, how am I feeling today? What is my attitude like today? How am I dealing with this situation? Is this the way that I want to be dealing with the situation? And by bringing that conscious attention back, you can make the choice that you want to be making. And by doing that, it then becomes unconscious. You then unconsciously think, is this the best way for me to handle this situation? You unconsciously bring your attention back to that mood that I'm in is only going to ruin the rest of my day unless I choose something now to change it. And when you start to bring that attention back to it, it becomes conscious again. And then you can go, okay, well then how do I change this mood? How do I talk better to myself? How do I focus on my business for an hour every day? How do I put that into my diary to be a daily reminder that I need to go and update my social media for my business, or I need to do an hour's worth of learning for this course that I want to take? It's putting reminders, putting flags in your day to remind you to bring that attention back. When you're being fitter and healthier, you need to drink a lot more water. So a lot of people use water trackers because it pings up with a reminder on their phone to drink more water. They then become used to drinking water at that time. It then becomes unconscious, and then it then becomes a habit. So it's making those little changes to bring that attention back so you can take responsibility for those actions and make the changes that you want to make, rather than blaming it on a habit. Because when you say it's a habit, we automatically assume we can't do anything about it. But we can. Smokers give up smoking, and that is a habit. Most of them don't even realise that they are lighting up. It's just what they do. They come in, they light up. But they do change it. It's hard, but they do change it. If your habit is to drink way too much coffee, every single break away from your day, you go and get a cup of coffee, then it's making that conscious thought to, I'm going to get a glass of water instead. It's making that conscious thought to, I'm going to swap to decaf. And then as time goes by, those habits start to build in to create that healthier life, to bring you in alignment to your goals, to bring you in alignment to where you want to be. But it starts by taking accountability of it and going, this isn't a habit, this is a subconscious choice. And if I want different, I need to choose different for myself. So I hope that helps for you guys today. And I'll speak to you guys all soon. Bye.